Okay, are you having fun at the festival? I hope so. I hope so. We have a special treat for this next set. While they're getting set up, we have America's sweetheart here, Belinda Gail. And Belinda Gail, if you didn't know it, grew up down the road in Gardner. And she's gone on to incredible things and lots of awards. American Western Music Association Awards, etc., etc. So Belinda Gail, America's sweetheart, and joining her this afternoon is Genoa's Cowboy poet, Dr. Ken Gardner. And I know you're going to enjoy what they have in store for us this afternoon. So please welcome Belinda Gail and Ken Gardner. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we're just feel honored and privileged to be. This is my last show of the festival, except I will be in Cowboy Church. How many of y'all are going to Cowboy Church tomorrow morning? I'll pray for the rest of you. So what Ken and I are going to do is kind of go back and forth. You can take that down about 20 or 30% of the monitors. Bring it back up 10. Yeah, that's just about right. Thank you. And so we're going to kind of go back and forth, and I'm going to do a couple, and Ken's going to do a couple, and we're just going to kind of just go back and forth and have some fun with this. And I'm never quite sure what Ken's going to do, so we shall find out. Oh, but it's been just a pleasure to be here, and it's always so excited to come home. It's just fun to come home. So I'm going to kick this off with an old trail song in the old trail song tradition, which is a cappella. And I hope you enjoy this. I'm sure in the right key. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to hear you. Thank you so much. Well, this next song is an old Furlan Husky song, and this is the first one I chose to be on my gospel CD because it was my mama's favorite. And I don't know if y'all remember On the Wings of a Snow White Dove. So those of you who remember it, you can sing along with me. That would be fun. And for the rest of you who don't know it, I have a job for you as well. Now, when Furlan Husky sang this song, he did this cool snap clap thing, and that's going to be our audience participation part of the show. And it's really easy. It's on the chorus. It goes like this. On the wings of a snow white dove. Now you're all supposed to be practicing with me. On the wings of a snow white dove. Okay, that's your part. Just do that all the way through the chorus, and I'll be a happy camper. Here we go. When trouble surrounds us, when evil comes, the body grows weak, the spirit grows numb. These things beset us. He doesn't forget us. He sends down His love, wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove. He sends His pure, sweet love, a sign from above, wings of a dove. Well, that was almost awesome. We have some party poopers. Again, clap, snap, snap, clap, snap, snap. Not really hard. Okay. We got another chance. We got another chorus coming up. Well, Noah's adrift on. I won't make you clap if you'll stay. Okay. Well, Noah's adrift on flood many days. We search for land in various ways. While troubles he had some, he was never forgotten. God sent down His love, wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove. He sends His pure, sweet love, a sign from above, wings of a dove. Almost. We still have some hanger-oners that are just not going to do it. How about, maybe the snap-clap combination is too much for them. I'm thinking. That might be it. Okay, so you have permission, those of you who have not mastered the snap-clap, you have permission to just clap. I know you can do that. Just clap. We're good. And so if somebody's sitting next to you and they're not doing either, I want you to just stare at them. Well, Jesus went down to the river that day. He was baptized in the usual way. And when it was done, God blessed His Son and sent His love, wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove. He sends His pure, sweet love, a sign from above, wings of a dove, on the wings of a snow white dove. God sends His pure, sweet love, a sign from above, on the wings of a dove.
or something else, maybe you went. Oh, all right, I'll look out. I tell you, I was afraid I was going to miss this. I had to go across the grass over there to the lounge. You know, it's a big day at our house. Actually, it's been a big month. We've renamed the toilet. It's not a John anymore, it's a Jim. And I can truthfully look you in the eye now and say, every morning I get up and go to the gym. Been walking across the grass here. This little boy says, hello? Geez, I looked around, I couldn't see anybody. So I took a step and the boy said, hello, wait a minute. And I looked down there and the grass is this little green frog. And I said, is that you talking? The frog said, of course it is. He says, kiss me and I'll turn into a beautiful princess. I said, what? The frog says, kiss me and I'll turn into a beautiful princess. Well, I picked the little creature up and looked at it, put it in my pocket. This little boy said, oh, put me in the pocket for, don't you want to kiss me? And I said, hell, at my age, I can use a talking frog. Several years ago, with some friends, we went down to Death Valley. This was back at the time when there was water in the west, and the flowers were in bloom. We went down to see the flowers, and we had an experience down there that generated a poem on my part. And I have to tell you, you have to understand that down there in Death Valley, in so many places now, when they put in outhouses, they don't dig a pit. They bring them in on skids or something on a truck and roll them, just set them on the ground. They're all self-contained. A week later or so, a truck comes in and picks the used ones up, puts new ones down. So these things are just sitting on the ground. Anyway, so this experience happened to us. The little poem I generated, I called Grandma in the Death Valley Outhouse. I don't remember how it starts. Now, a gentle wind was blowing when Grandma got the call. We weren't no indoor plumbing, just an outhouse, that was all. A potty for the tourists who didn't have to do. Grandma had seen the worst places. She'd seen one or two. Oh, shoot. Anyway, Our Lady showed her breathing when she took her place in line. There was others there before her. Her spot was number 9. And the wind was up to 30 when Grandma got the first. It had been a long wait, but she survived the worst. And the wind was up to 40 when Grandma stood within, where it was warm and perfumed, but outside there rose a din. And the breeze was up to 50 when she felt a little slide. The palace, it was moving. She was going for a ride. The gale was really howling when there come a shudder and a thump, and a little bit of sloshing as the outhouse hit a bump. Well, that was too much for Grandma. She'd done what we'd had done. She pulled herself together and she left that outhouse on the run. She headed for some sagebrush, the only shelter she could find. But by gum, here come that outhouse, as if it had a mind. So she veered off toward the car park. She was straining for the lead. And Grandma's built for comfort. She isn't built for speed. She must have set a record, but no one had a clock. Still that outhouse with a car that hadn't been rocked. It tumbled over on its side, and a pungent smell arose. And someone there who'd seen it said, "It's Grandma, by a nose." That's a true story, except for the parts I made up. When people ask me, see if I can get this message out, people say, how'd you get started in that cowboy poetry business? Well, it was something I liked all my life. But it wasn't until I sort of retired that I had the time to turn my mind to such frivolous things as cowboy poetry. And this little poem is also true. I'm the guy that opened for Baxter in Elko in 2006. Sit up and pay some attention, you'll learn how I got in that fix. I recited some verse at a session known as open mic. Oh, I'm really tying up here. Afterwards, this guy comes up to me out in the hall, twirling his stash. He says, I got a big job for you. I wonder, it don't pay any cash, but I got a show that's upcoming at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I'm in need of an opening guy, and I wonder if you'd like to do it too. Well, open marriages often taught me that it's never wise to say no. So when Baxter asked if I'd do it, I said, well, sure, I'll give it a go. And I went ahead and I did it. To an audience gracious and kind. I don't think they ever suspected that I was going half out of my mind. After back in the hallway, and it's this I want you to know, Baxter signs a book to me. Thanks, Ken. It was nice to be on your show. He made me feel like a 10-year-old kid, you know. I don't feel that way anymore. Anyway. All right, Belinda. So, are you awake?
I can't totally hear back here.
Yeah, not much to hear.
This is a neat little song about horses. And one of the things I love about horses is that they don't respond to the person that you want them to think you are. They respond to who you really are. They see past any facade you would throw up and you just see right down to your heart. And that's what they respond to. And that's what the song is about, and it's called Dollar. Dollar was a sore horse that stood just 15-2. But he was the meanest bronc the Cowboys ever knew. Captured in a Mustang bed out on the Nevada plains. Life was marked by sun and summer, never sees a winter rain. 1,100 pounds of muscle, bone, and hate. To be a great bucking horse just seemed to be his fate. And the cowboys that got on his back, he'd always buck 'em down. His fame, it grew bigger as he went from town to town. He never had a name till one time at a rodeo. It was 15 minutes till they started up the show, when the cowboy said, I'll bet a buck that horse that you can't ride. That one there without a name strapped in that sorrel hide. Well, the cowboy that made the brag was a tough one to dethrone. But the horse came out the victor, cause the cowboy never rode. And they called that horse O'Dollar from that moment on. Yeah, the cowboys that got on his back, they didn't last too long. Dollar is the sore horse the cowboys couldn't ride. Dollar, oh dollar, picture of a demon strapped up in a soul hide. Now the cowboys were all standing out around the announcer's stand, when a little girl unnoticed walked up to Dollar's pin. By the time the cowboys turned around, well, it was just too late. That little girl was sitting on the top rail of his gate. As the cowboys watched, it made their jaws go slack. That little girl slid off the gate and on tried to ride him, and most of them were good. Dollar, oh dollar, the cowboys couldn't ride him, but that little baby could. Dollar, oh dollar, the cowboys couldn't ride him, but that little baby could. You cannot leave. Sit.
There's a fight, we gotta go.
Oh, okay, go watch the fight. Cowboys love a good fight. The cool thing is, there was a lady at a show that I did that came up to me and she said, that song is about me. I grew up next to a pasture. My parents would never let me have a horse. I grew up next to this pasture and there were all these horses and this one that was always off by themselves. It was a black horse and I felt so sorry for it. I would go give it carrots and sugar and just love on it and pet its nose. And one day I was sitting on the fence just watching it and he just came up alongside of me and just sidled right up to where I was sitting on the fence, so I just got on. And he started walking around, and about the time the owner came out, just like with this panicky look on his face, saying really quick, just slide off, don't do anything fast. And she's like, what? Just get off. So she slid off, and it was an unbroke stud that she was walking around on. So it was kind of a scary thing. Oh my gosh. Well, one of the things that I love about this music that I do is that we get the historical songs and we keep pieces of history alive. And this next song is a true story, and it was written about Cynthia Ann Parker. Now, those of you who don't, if you're not from Texas, you may not know who that is. She was kidnapped by the Comanche when she was 9 years old. She grew up as an Apache, or as a Comanche. She was, well, hello. She was the mother of Quanah Parker, the last great Comanche chief. And when she was in her 30s, her village was raided. She was rescued. But every single person in the camp, every man, woman, and child was slaughtered. And the only reason she wasn't killed was because they could see she was white. Well, they figured out who she was as they traveled back towards civilization. And when they figured out who she was, they just zigzagged through Texas to make sure they hit every town and every hamlet so they could brag about rescuing Cynthia Ann Parker. And when they captured her, when they rescued her, it was winter. They didn't realize that she had a tiny little baby girl wrapped up in her buffalo robes. When they got to the first town, they made her change into a dress and shoes and took all of her garments away from her, her Indian garments. She spent the rest of her life trying to get back to the Comanche, and she was never successful. Of course, her little girl didn't survive very long back in white civilization. And when she found out that her youngest son had died of a fever, she quit eating, she quit speaking, she quit drinking, and she died. And this is her story, the end of her life, white women's clothes. On the moon you called December, and the river you called the peaks. It was cold and I remember we just packed up to leave, when a mounted line of soldiers, a sparkle in the sun, rode down upon our warriors and shot them one by one. Now the ponies of our women, they were slowed down and slow, with their lodge poles and equipment and the meat of our buffalo. And the cowards of your cavalry, when all the fight was over, killed the women and their babies, except for me and Prairie Flower. The white man's liberation took me from my home to the prison of his houses and his white women's clothes. You could see my hair was flaxen and you could see my eyes were blue, that my skin was white and ashen, or you would have shot me too. But you could not see the baby I cradled in my robes, a small red-skinned Comanche, the color of my soul. White man's liberation took me from my home to the prison of his houses and his white woman's clothes. Dressed up for your amusement in your used and second-hand, you parade me through your settlements and you call me Cynthia Ann. In these walls I'm suffocating where the wind never blows, and my heart is strangulating in these white women's clothes. White man's liberation took me from my home to the prison of his houses in his white women's clothes. White man's liberation took me from my home to the prison of his houses in his white women's clothes. I've died here in this prison in his white women's clothes. In the moon you call December, on the river you call the peace.
Well, these two guys, old guys, were talking. One of them says, I got a new hearing aid. And he says, do you like it? First one says, oh, he says, I know. Expensive one? Well, very expensive. Cost me a lot of money. And he says, what kind is it? Well, he says, oh, it's about $12.30. I don't think some of you heard me. This is a... You get a whistle? You okay?
Yeah, we had the buzz on the speakers so they couldn't hear back here.
Okay.
My fault.
Am I all right now?
Yes.
Okay. This is a poem by Bruce Gardner. I'm going to do it for you for reasons that'll be apparent in a few minutes. Now, Tanglefoot Johnny had quite an affair. He always had figured on roping a bear. So one day when John was riding through stock, he noticed this bear that was taking a walk. The bear he was filling his lungs with ozone while gathering grub from in under his stone. So Johnny, he lifted his horse in the lope and blew him a loop on the end of his rope. He dabbed his rope on him and mighty soon found that a bear was built heavy and close to the ground. It weren't no use for that horse to set back because the bear turned and charged. It had lots of stuff. The horse he got clawed and was plunging around when the bear turned and run, and he drug that horse down. And I don't know how they'd have ended that scrap, save the buckle, tore through the off latigo strap. And the bear he was dragging the saddle behind when it caught in some brush and wouldn't unwind. So he chawed on the rope and he bit it in two. And in about 30 seconds, that ruckus ensued. One day I says, John, says I in the square, says, what do you think about roping a bear? Says John, well, I'll tell you, I can't see the use, for they're easy to catch, but they're hell if they're loose. They went on and on and on. Last summer I lost a close friend. He had that disease that is affecting so many people now, Alzheimer's. And I wrote this poem a year before he passed away. He sits there in silence with a faraway stare, for the goings on around me don't seem to care. Okay, I don't know. He sits there in silence with a faraway stare, for the girls all around him, he don't seem to care. If you ask how he's doing, he'll say, "Why, great, but he don't know the time and he can't tell you the date." And the catch, you might think that he's happy, of course. He don't worry about Congress or taxes or wars. He eats 3 desserts. You think he would burst. You just don't remember they were eating the first. It wasn't like this in times of the past. He'd start conversations before he was asked. And as for the rest, well, he'd wait till you spoke. Then he'd come back with some facts, and maybe a joke. Still today, if you ask him, he can recite you a rhyme that he learned from his dad, and he won't miss a line. Now Tanglefoot Johnny had quite an affair. He was and figured out nothing there. The old words of this cabin's come back right away. The trouble he's got has to do with today. Do you suppose that he's happy? Do you think that he knows that he's having problems and some of them shows? Perhaps, but for sure, when he recites them old lines, his time, his mind is back there in the best of our times. Thank you. You back there?
I just want to make sure you're finished.
Oh,
You have those little zingers that you throw in every now and then, so, if you had a little zinger on, you can make sure you had time to do that.
that's fine. I got them written down. I can't remember these things. I have to look and see what, 2 guys are talking. One of them says, "You married yet?" The other one says, "Not yet." The first fellow says, "Well, how come?" And the second guy says, "Well, look," he says, "I meet nice girls." He says, "When I take them home to meet my parents, my mother doesn't like them. So I have to keep looking." The friend says, "I'll tell you what you do." He says, "You go around and you find yourself a girl that's exactly like your mother. And there won't be any question." So a few months go by and they run into each other. And the friend says, "Well, you married yet?" The guy says, "No, not yet." "Well, what happened?" "Well, I did like you done said." He said, "I looked around, I found a girl who was just like my mother. Took her home. My father didn't like her." Well, is that all right?
Oh my goodness. Well, I want to follow up that last poem he did. This song that I'm getting ready to do, someone sent it to me back in 1997, I think, and it took me until my last CD to finally get it recorded. And I just thought it was a lovely song about a widow, and just when you finally get past that, the grieving and the sadness and the real deep heartache of it, and you get to the point where you can just savor the beautiful memories of the marriage that you had. And I didn't really understand that when I first heard that song. I just thought it was a sweet song. But I was widowed in 2008. And I think that's why the Lord didn't let me record that song before this last album, because I needed to understand what it was really about. And it's just a really sweet, sweet song. And I'm going to sing this out to any of you who have ever lost someone that you really love. And it's called The Old Feather Quilt. The Stetson that he wore is still hanging by the door, and his dog lies in wait on the porch. The cold, blustery air moves that old rocking chair, makes me think he's still rocking back and forth. It's this time of the year that reminds me every summer leaf must fall. I look to the hills from this home that we built. The birds take the air and the fox seeks its lair, and I shake out this old feather quilt. Like The chain stitch goes around. This old quilt has been passed down, and I'll give it to our daughter in my time. But tonight the wind whispers the songs he used to sing, so I'll cling to its warmth while it's still mine. It's this time of the year that reminds me, when I hear the wild geese call, I look to the hills from this home that we built. The birds take the air and the fox seeks its lair, and I shake out this old feather quilt. Table set for two, it's the last thing that I do before I turn out the lamps for the night. But tonight on my lips is for the memory of his kiss, and a dream of the arms that held me tight. It's this time of the year that reminds me, every soaring heart must fall. I look to the hills from this home that we built. The birds take the air and the fox seeks its lair, and I shake out this old feather quilt. I look to the hills from this home that we built, and I shake out this old feather quilt. Thank you. Oh my gosh. This next song I wrote for the new album, and it's really funny because I was thinking as I was driving back into the valley, we were living in a house out in Centerville, and I mean my sisters and I remember this so well. Let me back up. I was thinking of what I wanted to write, kind of a funny song, kind of a fun song from the album, because there was a lot of kind of heavy songs on there, and so I was trying to think of something that would be fun to write about it, and I remembered this April Fool's joke that my sisters and I played on my mom right in Centerville. That's where we almost lost our lives. And 3 girls. I don't know if you are somebody or know somebody like this, but my mom, you could not even talk to her in the morning until she'd had her first cup of coffee. And so we 3 girls thought it would be really fun to screw with her first cup of coffee in the morning. Bad decision, very bad decision. So, but I didn't want to write the song about 3 little girls and their mom in the kitchen, so I kind of moved the whole thing into the bunkhouse, took a little bit of creative license with it, and then turned it into a song about some cowboys. Most of the facts are pretty true, and I call this, Don't Talk to Jake Till His First Cup of Coffee. Well, Jake, he is a mighty fine man, hard-working, fair and true. And if you needed it, you know, he'd give the shirt off his back to you. But in pre-dawn light, if you see him without a cup of coffee in his hand, just turn and walk away if on your feet you'd like to stand. That poor little greenhorn kid unwound just like a sprocket when he walked right up to Jake with both hands stuffed deep in his pockets. Well, he fired off 3 questions while Jake was pulling on his boots. Jake sent flying backwards like the cap out of his shoes. Don't talk to Jake till his first cup of coffee. It's like waking up a bear in the middle of a winter sleep. No, don't talk to Jake till his first cup of coffee. At least not if your head intact you would like to keep. Well, Jake, he liked his coffee real sweet, unlike most cowboy style, with heaping spoonfuls, 3, 4, 5, made us wink and smile. One April Fool's, we came up with a plan we thought was clever. But when cowboys go to thinking, that can be a risky endeavor. Well, we swapped the sugar for the salt while Jake was soundly sleeping. You'd think that we'd have known by now a whirlwind we'd be reaping. Yep, we was grinning ear to ear as Jake loaded up his Java. But frozen terror in here erupted like molten spewing lava. Well, the rest gets kind of fuzzy, but there was blood and bones cracking. And when we came to, that bunkhouse sure had suffered a ransacking. But it looked good compared to us, all bloody, bruised, and broken. We'd sure enough picked the wrong cowboy for all our practical joking. Well, we try to forget that fateful day, though we know Jake felt pretty bad. Gosh, he was more surprised than us, and he went raving mad. But it's legend around the bunkhouse, greenhorns asking for the story. None of us ever mess with Jake or his first cup of coffee. Don't talk to Jake till his first cup of coffee. It's like waking up a bear in the middle of a winter sleep. No, don't talk to Jake till his first cup of coffee. At least not if your head intact you would like to keep. Well, that greenhorn kid, he up and left. He said it was just too rough out here. And Jake, well, he always tastes that sugar now before he puts it in his coffee. Yeah, like we would ever try that stunt again.
I'm going to read a couple of them, breaking the tradition, but I have to tell you, these are sort of hot off the press. And I'm interested in knowing in this audience right at the moment, how many cattlemen or cattle ladies are there in the audience? Are there any? Anybody on the cow? For sakes, I know, yeah, we got a couple over here. Well, you're going to learn something. This is an unseasonal poem, but I call it The Lee of the Herd. And the fact of it was told me by an old cowboy by the name of Art Black. Art had polio when he was a boy, and he really couldn't ambulate at all. So he got around on horseback. He was a strong old guy. He pulled himself up, from standing ground, just with his arms to get in the saddle. And Art and I and a few other people used to go on cattle drives together. And I call this poem The Lee of the Herd. When it comes to driving cattle and the weather's kind of cold, when you got the chilly willies and you're feeling plenty old, when your long johns ain't a-warming and your nose is on the run, when you're sitting high and wishing that the breeze was quitting done, then you can't help but remember the wisdom that you once heard. The warmest spot on a winter's drive is off in the lee of the herd. Take your turn at riding point where the elements prevail. Just keep them cows from running, because them lead cows know the trail. And it's right for you to spend some time at the tailgate riding drag. And remember, cows are back there. They just can't help it if they lag. Yes. And when it comes your turn for windward, cowboy up and don't complain. The cold don't get no warmer from language that's profane. When you're finished with these duties and it's time for your reward, head for the warmth of the winter's trail. Get off to the lee of the herd, that place to which old hands aspire, out on the trail away from the fire, and eating in comfort that's highly preferred, off in the lee of the herd. Thank you. And that's worth going, right, Benny? All right. This one now you got to pay attention to because it's going to smack you at the end. I'm not sure you're all with it here yet. called the Champ. And I didn't know there was such a thing as the United States Olympic fishing team. But by golly, a few years back, I met one, a Champ, member of the U.S. Olympic team, just home in Czechoslovakia, where they lost, but they had a very good time. I call this the Champ. It was getting on past sundown when Justin calls me on the phone. The fishing champ has hit our town and he will not fish alone. The reason is quite simple. It isn't out of fear. It's when fish champs tell their stories, they like someone there to hear. Well, Justin's taken this champ out to a special fishing hole and he wonders if I'd like to go and bring my fishing pole. I says, well, sure, I'll come with you to watch a champ in action. But understand, an amateur could be a big distraction. Justin says, not likely, but you must promise not to peek, because fishing champs, he warned me, are secreted on the creek. They make this sticky paper just to frustrate us. Next day we go on a four-wheel drive to a special stretch of river. You can see excitement in the champ, his fishing fingers quiver. Disappointment hits when we arrive. The creek is flooded out. This is a few years ago. There's mud and brush and boulders and little sign of trout. But Joan, no champ is one to pass the chance to fish. The odds be slim. And this one takes off down the stream and we soon lose sight of him. Justin and me, we fish all day and we do not have a strike. Then champ shows up all smiley-like and strutting. Champion height. He says he couldn't catch one either, no matter what he tries. The fish are biting nothing, not dough balls, worms, or flies. Until a mile on down the creek, he sets eyes on his salvation. A culvert runs beneath the road. It fills him with elation. Where once a deluge used to flow and through this culvert used to rush, there now runs at best a trickle, for the pipe is clogged with brush. Big trout cannot get through, and so they circle round. Their instinct drives them up the stream. There's nothing drives them down. Champ stomps and sets there on the road on this ideal fishing spot. Downstream, the trout whose hormones rage designs his escape plot. If he cannot swim on through the pipe, then above it, it's his scheme. He cannot, then above it is his scheme. With one big jump, he'll clear the road and land back in the stream. He tells his Piscean friends his ploy, and then he leaves the pond. I can get 2 at a time, 4 at a time, 3 at a time. He starts out in a silvery arc, but he never gets beyond. For hungered there upon the road is champ. He knows just what was up. You know that fish which cannot swim will certainly try to jump. As that looker makes his leap, champ grabs him from the air, and when a second follows him, champ quickly has a pair. No bigger trout are seen that year. They keep them on display. That champ can fish, the townsfolk know. They have little more to say. We save those brave souls who ask our star just how it was he got him. Champ smiles and answers, each in truth. I'll tell you straight, I caught him. Are you back there?
Pardon, we have 10 minutes? Oh, cool. Okay, so time for me to do one more and you to do one more. How does that sound? Are you ready, Ken?
Yeah, that's all right.
All right, that's what we'll do then.
We're running short on zingers, though.
You need to write some more.
Well, you know, this is redneck country. You know how you tell if you're staying in a redneck hotel? You call the desk clerk and you say, I got a leak in my sink. And he says, go ahead.
do you follow him? I mean, I just,
We're leaving. I'm following.
oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to close out my part of this set. First, I do want to thank all the committee for the Genoa gathering for bringing me in. It was just a delight to be back home again. I hope it's not 3 or 4 years before they bring me back again. So I'd love to come back sooner. Just have a big hand for all the volunteers. They cannot pull this off without the volunteers and all of the sponsors. So those of y'all who are local, if you know anybody who's sponsoring this event, please let them know that you appreciate it, and so that they know that their sponsoring dollar is doing what they want it to do, and that's to get their name out there. So thank you so much. And most of all, thank y'all for showing up for this thing, because if you weren't willing to give 2 of your very precious things, that's your time and your money, to come to these things, then we who love this music and love the poetry and love performing it would have to be just in our living rooms doing it for each other. So you're the reason we get to follow our passion, so thank you very much. We deeply appreciate that and never forget it. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it. I'm going to close with this song that I wrote. It's a title cut of my new CD. And shortly after we moved to Prescott, Arizona, there was a horrible wildland fire that came right up to our back fence. And the only reason that it didn't consume our home was because of the slurry tankers that were spreading slurry on our house, and the cut that the hot shots made right behind our house. It burned right up to that cut. I was on the road. My husband was literally loading out animals and grabbing what he could grab in an hour to get everything out of the house. But they saved our home. I came back from being on tour, and we still couldn't get into the house, but I needed to come in. They escorted us in by deputy to grab some things that I needed to head back out on the road again. And when we got to the house, there was a whole group of firefighters sitting on our porch, and they jumped up like kids with their hands caught in a cookie jar when we pulled up. It was so cute. But we were so grateful to them, grateful to get to meet them and thank the men very young men, who had saved our home. And I took off on the road again, and about 10 days later, my husband called me and he said, we were talking and chatting and just kind of catching up on the day, but I knew something was wrong, and I finally said, "Hey, what is it? I know something's wrong. What is it that you're not telling me?" He said, "I just don't know how to tell you this. You know those young men we met on our porch? They were just lost in the Arnell Hill fire. It was the Granite Mountain Hot Shots." So I went back. This song, Granite Mountain, was finished, a beautiful mountain that was right behind our home. But I went back and added a bridge just to give a nod of honor to those men and women who go out and fight those wildland fires. And even the domestic fires. And you don't realize what kind of danger they're really in on a day-to-day basis until a tragedy like that happens. So thank you again very much for having me, and I'm going to dedicate this song to the Granite Mountain Hot Shots, and it's called Granite Mountain. Rises up from the valley floor, covered with rocks and so much more, lurk between the junipers and boulders. Mountain lion, prickly pear, there is danger, beware, and don't forget to look back over your shoulder. Snake and javelina, even if you haven't seen one, they're like whispers in the shadows. The beauty it will mesmerize, but don't forget those weary eyes, always creeping there in the hollows. Granite Mountain, oh, the silhouette we know so well. Lost now in the mist, nothing but stories. And if you listen with your spirit pounding feet, you'll almost hear it now, forevermore, part of her glories. Belinda.